As is Ross from LFTV. I'm up close, literally and personal here with Phil Walker.
Too close.
It's lovely and sunny today outside the Lowther. You're going to be filming here later on today with Tom Binns. How excited are you?
Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be great. Tom's just come straight off the back of his BBC's own BBC One show, Hospital People, where he plays loads of different characters, and he's going to be showing us some of them tonight, and it's going to be great. You know, we've got a good audience in, and it just starts the festival off in a good way with a laugh.
So how did this happen? How did you and Tom come to decide that you were going to get together for Living Festival 2017, and how did the work actually start for your, what you were going to do? Where did the idea originally come from?
Yeah, I've worked with Tom quite a lot over the years, and we kind of started off together in the talent competitions, if you believe it or not, about 20 years ago in Blackpool. And we just sort of came together last November doing a show down in London. And I thought it'd be a really good idea to get Tom up at some point doing the whole evening with different characters, because normally we'll have like 3 or 4 different comedians on. But I thought, why not just have one comedian on doing 4 different characters, just to give the audience something a bit different. And I'm hosting it as well, and Tom was well up for it, so it just fitted in nicely with his schedule, with it being the festival and him going up to Edinburgh. So it's great. It's a good coup to get him.
I'd love to ask you. I wanted to ask you this both really, because especially with his recent programme that's on, obviously BBC One at the moment, Hospital People. I don't know if you've been watching that.
Yeah, I've watched it all. That's the great thing about iPlayer now, isn't it? I download them and then I take them when I'm on the planes. If I'm flying somewhere, it's great to watch that
stuff. Will we see any
see
of them characters at the show here today?
Yeah, he'll be. I haven't seen one of his characters. I haven't seen yet, so I'm looking forward to that. He does like a spoof ventriloquist act, which looks absolutely right. I mean, the puppet just looks really scary, so it looks really cool. But he'll be doing his, as well as that, he'll be doing his Ian de Montfort, which is the spiritualist guide, who was featured heavily in the show, and also his most famous one, Ivan Brackenbury, the hospital radio DJ.
Now, how do you prepare for something like this? Because normally, I mean, you're quite familiar, aren't you, with Lowther, and recently, obviously, with the renovation work they've done. How do you prepare when you're working with someone else on the same night when it's not just your show?
Well, I'm kind of used to it because I've hosted like woofers for the last 3 years in Lytham, so I'm sort of the link, the go-between in between the acts really, and everyone that comes, the regulars, sort of know me, so I just kind of have banter with the crowd and do a bit of material if I've got some new stuff to try out, and then get the acts on. It's not all about me on the night. It's all about sort of them and everyone enjoying the evening, you know.
Well, we've been asking this to some of the artists who are performing at this year's festival. If you see family members or friends in the audience, does it make it a little bit more nerve-wracking, seeing some maybe familiar faces?
It can be nerve-wracking, yeah, but it can also be off-putting. Like, for instance, like my dad came to see me up in Edinburgh a couple of years ago when I did the festival, and I was in a smallish room. And my dad's like,
he don't heckle you, does he?
Yeah,
he don't heckle you, does he?
He heckled me. Yeah, I was getting a review off quite a famous publication called Chortle, who are like an online comedy reviewers. And if you get a good review off them, it can set up your festival. And he's just started heckling me from the back of the room. Every fact I'm saying, he'd go, no, that didn't happen, and that didn't happen. He'd had a few wines in the afternoon, so we ended up just having banter between the two of us.
And how does he actually help you in your career? Because I mean, obviously he's had such a successful career. Does he sit you down and give you tips? Or how supportive is he?
Well, he was quite supportive in the starting, because the hardest thing in comedy is getting going, especially now. I feel sorry for young new comedians starting now, because there's so many people wanting to do it, and less gigs, if you will. It was a bit easier when I started, but yeah, he was quite sort of pointing you in the right direction and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's one of those jobs that you've just got to go out there and do it and see if you can get the work and try and improve, and it takes a long time.
Now, obviously, after the festival, you got a very busy schedule. It looks on your website. How do you keep it fresh? I mean, obviously, you probably use some of the same material again, but
yeah,
for obviously a new audience, how do you keep it as funny?
Well, I'm always like, the great thing about doing the woofers for me was hosting, because normally I'll just go on and sort of do my show, but here I had to talk to the crowd and bounce off people, and it gave me a good freedom, so I can kind of go on now and ad lib a bit and then make my way into my material. But I'm always reading the newspapers and Twitter and all the bits and bobs, so I'm always looking for new material, so that it kind of generates new stuff all the time. So I always try, if I'm doing a weekend, I always try and put at least 1 or 2 new bits in, just for me, and that sparks you off a bit, you know. It's an ongoing process.
And who are you going to see at this year's festival? Have you got tickets for any of the events?
Yeah, we're going to the Hacienda night, which I'm really looking forward to, the classic Hacienda. I have no idea what it's going to be. Apparently there's some sort of huge orchestra doing the classic tracks from Hacienda, so I'm really looking forward to that. My daughter is going with her friend to see Ollie Murs.
Can't wait for Ollie Murs. It's incredible, isn't it?
See Ollie Murs.
Well, you know, I thought I was trying to get on stage with him, really, do a bit for him myself, but he's not replied to my emails. Obviously, the Lytham Festival growing each year, isn't it? How important do you think it is for Lytham itself?
I think it's just amazing. I was saying the other day, you know, some of the world's biggest stars, you know, like Bryan Adams and Tom Jones and these sorts of people coming to a little town like Lytham, you know, and this huge stage. I think Cuff and Taylor have done an amazing thing. Who would have thought that these kinds of people would be coming to Lytham every year? And I think we're very lucky and very blessed to have it.
Well, brilliant. Thank you so much. Good luck for the show, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.